What do you mean you're going away for 12 days? You're going to leave me with them? Please come back. What's up, guys? My name's Jeff. That is my wife. She recently went gallivanting across the Caribbean without me, and we're going to talk about how to survive when your spouse is gone, specifically the husbands. But this does apply to both people.
It was glorious.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
question.
Maybe.
What are 3 things that people have done for you without asking that have meant the most to you?
You do this.
Oh.
I don't know if it counts, but I got a Fleet Admiral letter of commendation for doing my job.
That's cool.
That gave me an extra rank at the end of the process, but that was cool to be recognized for just doing my job. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what that is, Google it, because it'll make more sense better than I can explain it. 3 things? I don't know how you do this, but you have discernment. But when I'm trying to keep up with running 3 businesses and our children, it sounds stupid, but sometimes the dishes are done, and I appreciate it more than like probably any other husband out there, because it is like in our context. It's my job, and all of that stuff. Does that make sense?
For those who don't know what discernment is, I have a really good ability to read situations and people.
Imagine if your 8 ball was right every single time.
That's me.
That's discernment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that's probably the good 3.
Okay. Mine are a little corny. But yeah. Yours are all like sappy and I love it. So I guess mine's kind of sappy. So one thing is there are some times like my son is all over the place sometimes. And there are occasions where he will stop and bring me a snack, or sometimes he will bring me lunch. And I think we talked about this a couple shows ago is I sometimes forget to eat, and it's not willful. It's just I get in a groove and sometimes I forget. And so he will go out of his way. One time he made me, he took lunch meat and essentially made me an adult Lunchable. It was the cutest thing ever. Or he'll bring me chips or something like that. And for me, I know he's thinking of me, and it is the sweetest thing. And it's totally unprompted.
He also knows you're talking about him.
I'm sure he's listening. But I've told him that it means something. Another thing that really meant a lot is I work really hard. Like at work, I bust my butt. Like I work really hard, and sometimes there's a lot going on because I tend to take on too much, and it's a personal problem that I have, but whatever. A couple years ago, one of the people that I work with nominated me for a very special award. Without going too far into it, it is a peer nominated award that has nothing to do with metrics or stats or anything like that. And it was just totally out of the blue. And part of the award is the people that are nominating you for this write comments. And I basically ugly cried at work. So that was super special for me. And then did I ever tell you some dude did that to me at Sonic one time after that movie came out? No. We were in the drive-thru, yeah. And I'm like, hey, can I forget what I was ordering as a drink. And then he goes, and I was like, I'm glad this car is not moving because I would have ran into the building. I was laughing so hard. Anyways, another thing. I don't know. It's hard to narrow it down. Those are two big ones. Oh, one thing that I love is you sometimes look at me and lovingly scold me and tell me to get out of the house and go get like a milkshake or something. Because sometimes, and I do this to you too, but you know the face I make when my mental load is just too much. And if someone else says one more thing to me, I'm going to snap on them. And you know that I need to get out of the house and just breathe and have 2 seconds to myself. And I love that you are looking out for me in that capacity. So,
All right.
anyways,
Woohoo.
yeah, super sappy. What are we talking about again?
Solo parenting while our spouses are on vacation, because there are single parents out there that do this every day, and I have no idea how any of that functions. Because that was a long 12 days. Anyway, our spouses, fiancés, boyfriend, girlfriends, whatever, they work really, really hard. Whether they're stay-at-home or career professionals, they deserve a break. Yes, your spouse deserves a break. Our case, we'll set the stage a little bit for where this comes from, happened to be probably a perfect storm. You went by yourself without us. You didn't go by yourself, but you went without us on a vacation. Fantastic. No issues. Our children were on spring break for 10 of those 12 days.
Not planned.
Not planned. We didn't plan it that way. We didn't know when spring break was. And you kind of don't get to choose when the specific type of cruise you were on gets to happen. Anyway, so me at home with the children by myself for 12 days on spring break.
Yeah.
Their adventures, it can be done. Solo parenting is incredibly challenging. Again, I don't have any clue how single mom and dads do this every day, all year long. But for those of us who don't do it all the time, there are a lot of unexpected stress that comes along with trying to manage work, family time, and humans. Not to mention the fish and the pets, and in some cases, the neighbor's cows. Because we live in the middle of nowhere. And all be alive and functional at the end of said vacation. Anyway, thoughts before I keep going.
Absolutely. And I mean, I have done this, and we encourage each other to take those solo trips. Absolutely. But there is definitely a lot of stress on how do we keep these 3 tiny humans alive, fed, and entertained, and not burning down the house. Like, that's definitely something to think through. But we will probably get into it. But I think for us too, there is just as much prep work that goes into before we leave to help your significant other. Like, make sure that the laundry's all caught up, to make sure that those tiny humans have clothes to wear.
We have to do that anyway.
I understand, but if you can help your spouse lay some of that groundwork so that if the laundry doesn't get done like it normally does, you know, they're not running around with nothing on in the front yard because they can.
Yeah.
So,
although some people's life goals are to live in a place where they're far enough away from their neighbors that they can walk around without
this is also true. However,
life goals.
I know.
Anyway, yes. 7 things that we can do to prepare for this. Full disclosure, I work from home for most of my jobs, and I try really hard to do all of my stuff in 4 days and have 3 days to work on cars and hang out with kids and date day. So, the first thing is to absolutely call for reinforcements.
100%.
Grams, grandma, grandpa, aunts, uncles, any breathing human.
People that you would trust with your children or to bring you food.
Yeah, any of those things. So while you were gone, we had aunts and uncles. Now, in our case, add to the perfect storm, Grams was also gone.
Yes. Me and my mother went on vacation and had a blast.
Anyway, we update our extended family on our kids' schedule regularly so that if they have the time off or want to, they can schedule time with the kids too. And that happened this time. So calling for reinforcements, our kids. I wrote this differently. Our kids get to spend time with their aunts and uncles on their time off. And so I got 2 days to get some work done. I don't remember what I did. I didn't actually get work done. I think I just did nothing because the kids weren't
slept.
here.
Yeah.
Probably. Anyway, so calling the aunts and uncles and grams and grandpa and friends that you trust with your children. Because sleepovers and lunch dates are all wonderful, wonderful things.
Mm-hmm. Gives you a good break and the kids a good break.
Structure and routines.
Mm-hmm.
Our kids, we suggest this for everybody. Go find what works for you. But our kids have a school day schedule and a non-school day schedule. It's written on the front of the refrigerator. They know the process, and we try to stick to it all the time, but especially when one of you is gone, knowing that the kids can just go read the front of the refrigerator and then turn around and look at the clock and, snack time's in 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay. Try to keep to the schedule as often as possible when one of you is gone. Mm-hmm. Routines are good in general. The Early Childhood Learning and Knowledge Center says this about kids' routines, and I'll put the link to this in the description. Familiar activities can provide comfort for both adults and children during challenges and uncertain times, like when mom's gone for 12 days. Just like adults, children feel more comfortable and confident and secure when their daily activities are predictable and familiar. A consistent daily schedule and step-by-step routine gives children a predictable day. Schedules and routines in the group care setting and at home help children feel in control of their environment, feel safe, secure, and comfortable, know what is happening now and what comes next, know how to do an activity or task, and feel engaged. And all of that makes my life or your life easier when one of us is gone. Mm-hmm. Having a predictable schedule helps manage the chaos.
Absolutely.
Okay. You have to talk about this one. I think this is the coolest thing ever. The mom bag.
The mom bag, yes. So there was a trip. I don't even remember where we were going, but my mom came in with a bag of stuff. It was crafts and Play-Doh and just different activities for the kids to do. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is in your bag of tricks? And I think we called it the Mary Poppins bag at one point. But it was like when the kids got bored, they would they would ask first, but they would take an activity out. And I was like, oh my gosh, why have I not thought of this before? And so we started regularly, or I should say I started carrying a bag, and it's actually prepped. But in this bag, we call it the mom bag. And it is like, we take it on road trips. We take it on, if we have to be at a restaurant where we're going to have to sit there and the kids are going to have to behave a little bit longer than normal. So there's a plethora of different activities, but this thing is stocked full of crap that's easy to access. So I have crayons. There are books in there that are, think paint by number, but it's stickers. So it's sticker books that they can go through and create a picture with just stickers. There's puzzles. There are some form of writing utensils sometimes, and I try and rotate it out. Sometimes it's colored pencils, sometimes it's markers. I regularly go to the craft stores or even the dollar store and just have small activities that they can take out and they can entertain themselves depending on how long we're going to be there. Sometimes I'll throw a couple of small toys that are in the mom bag. So it helps to keep them entertained and collected. So, and it honestly, like when you're in a situation, like church where they've got to sit still for so long, or if you're at a restaurant that's maybe a business meeting, you're going to want to help keep your kids engaged and entertained, because after so long, your kids are going to start getting bored, and it is a bag full of boredom busters. So
Absolutely. And specific to solo parenting while your spouse is on vacation, having it full before they leave.
yes.
Now, if you're the mom staying home, have it full before you leave. But if you're the dad staying home, ask your wife to fill it up before she leaves and tell you where she put it.
Yes. In our house before I left, and I think I told you I did this. I don't remember if I said it all up, but I went purposely. I needed to get some stuff for my trip anyways, but I stocked that thing full. I also grabbed a couple of extra. I took the kids with me, and they got to pick out one bigger activity. I think there was a magic kit that ended up in there, but it was something for them to look forward to do while I was gone.
Yep. And because the question in my head is, well, why don't they just go outside or go play? It's cold it's still cold where we live.
Well, this was January.
It was January. And
there was snow.
And we're not January. Spring break's in March.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway,
wrong trip.
But we're still, we're still in the 20s in the morning and 30s. And so it's cold outside. So until lunchtime, you need something to do. And we limit our electronics across the board. So having activities to do is a different thing.
Well, you also had some things that you had to do, and you had to be out of the house too.
Trips to the park and bike rides is the fourth thing. If you can schedule and plan that your time off together, we have some friends and some clients who have talked about that if their spouse is going on vacation without them, they will take vacation to be at home with their kids. Because their PTO allows them to do that. Yeah. So go do stuff, plan stuff. Again, I can work from home, so I can move my schedule. So we tried to go outside when it was finally warm enough. So I try to have stuff done by lunchtime, and then go out in the afternoon. Number 5 is absolutely do not forget date day. We had 2. We modified it. And the kids knew about this ahead of time. And that's one of the other things. This is a bonus one. Talk to your kids about it. Work through it so they know what's coming. It's not just that they got up on Friday morning and mom's gone for 12 days. Yeah. Who's going to feed us? But we talked about it. So in our case, whoever's date day it was got to choose where we went. But everybody had to go. Just lack of options. And it works.
Well, pause right there, because I think it's really important to understand, yes, your kids do as they're, hopefully do as they're told. Let's be real. But your kids are tiny humans. I mean, they have expectations just like we do. And so if you can help them to process ahead of time, that way they don't expect something and get disappointed. That's going to help your week to go by a whole lot faster if you're communicating that. And let's be honest, if you are communicating, you may have a fun activity, and that helps to keep them in order. Just like, certain holidays where you can dangle that carrot and you need to be good or else someone will see this. Same type of process. Hey, we're going to go to the park tomorrow, so I need you to make sure your room is cleaned. Having that something to look forward to can oftentimes help to make sure that things stay on track.
Cool. We do this anyway, but if you don't do this anyway, number 6 is meal plan, and go to the store and the places you don't want to take your kids ahead of time. This is different now because we have delivery. You can just order groceries. We generally can't. We live far enough away that they don't want to deliver to us. So we have to plan our trips to the big box store and to the local grocery store, because for us, it's a 35-minute drive to a preferred grocery store.
Yes.
So we meal plan ahead of time anyway. This is our regular thing. But for 12 days, that's something. Meal plan, because if you don't meal plan on a regular basis, it's one less thing you have to worry about and think about, because arguably when there's four of you and you're trying to figure it out without your spouse, you're trying to figure out what's for dinner at dinner time.
Yeah.
And so with us, like, we write it on the fridge. And so when I get up in the morning, whatever we're eating that day goes into the refrigerator so that it can thaw out.
Yeah. But also, like, yes, we are in the land of delivery, but how many times have we done grocery delivery when we did live in the city, and they forgot
They
that
never
key
bring
thing.
the bananas.
Right?
Ever.
Ugh. Anyways.
There's a Fry's in Surprise, Arizona. You never bring the bananas. And I don't know if it's the version where the Fry's goes grocery shopping and gives it to the person that delivers, or it's that version where the person goes and picks the groceries for you. I never know, because I see them all the time in the grocery store, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's weird. Anyway, fine. Meal plan. If delivery is an option, delivery. But we try to eat and cook at home regularly. So, like, our budget to go out to eat is not every day.
Yeah.
I also like to cook. So, anyway, number 7, last one. Take a deep breath. Set your personal time for after the kids go to bed. Watch the game. Watch your favorite show. Or do nothing.
Yep.
Take a bath.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to add number 8 for.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no. When you get home, set your expectations that as long as the children are still alive and mostly clean, count it as a win, because it is extremely stressful to get off your normal and not have your normal routine be followed and that extra support not be there. So, like, not that I have low expectations, but I have a bigger amount of understanding when I'm coming home from being gone, especially for that 12 days. Like, the house looked really good, and I was thoroughly surprised and happy, not because I doubted that you could do it, but I also understood the mental load of our 3 children are a lot to take on for that amount of time. And my son also told me right before the trip that he thought I was going to die, because
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So there's also the mental stress
my
and strain
goodness.
of trying to keep the children like, mommy's not going to die. It's going to be okay. That definitely happened.
And in our case,
Yeah.
you were also not reachable for most of the trip. So
that made a
like,
big difference.
Yeah.
So, I went out of my way to try and make sure when I could check in, I did. And it helped to reassure them. And by the time I got back stateside, my son was not worried about that anymore. And I think it was because we had set certain things in place. Another cool thing, this is bonus for you, as you do your prep, they sell tattoo markers. And so a fun thing that we did is I put a little heart on their wrist so that, and I put one on myself too, so that my kids knew, or no, I forgot to put one on. My kids could look at that, and it lasted for several days. It didn't last the whole 12 days, but they had my heart with them. And so I told them that. And so I wouldn't recommend putting it on their wrist, because hopefully they're washing their hands, but maybe putting it on their arm or somewhere that is personal to them. But I think you had to redraw the heart one time. No?
I probably had to, but I didn't.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know that was the thing.
It's okay. But it was something kind of fun. But they proudly showed me the remnants of the little tattoo when I got back.
Cool. Any other thoughts? You can do it.
Yes, you can do
The
it.
world will not end.
And I think don't stress yourself out if you don't get through all the laundry. I think that's the other thing. Like, give yourself
Does
some
anybody
grace.
ever get through the laundry?
Like, there are sometimes we can at least see the floor, because we normally will go and put our laundry, like, on laundry day, you put it on the floor. So if you get through the pile that day,
Yeah, because our washer and dryer are stacked, so
Yeah.
the dirty goes on the floor and goes in the washer and
Yeah.
goes in the dryer, comes out of the dryer into the basket, and 7 to 10
Yeah.
business days.
I'm just saying washing, not folding. That's a whole other story. But I mean, give yourself some grace. Like if you end up using paper plates every day just so that you don't have to do the dishes as
Go for
much,
it.
that's totally fine. Cut yourself some slack, because when half of your support system is gone, it makes things difficult.
Absolutely. All right. As always, we are not mental health professionals. If you think that you need to seek professional therapy, go find a local one who is way more qualified than we are to help you.
Right.
Check us out on the socials. My Wife Still Likes Me. mywifestilllikesme.com. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell, and we will see you next time. Later.
Bye.